Hello everyone, this is Aaron again. Today this is not going to be a shooting video, it's not going to be a review or fix a video or anything like that. Today I just want to talk about some areas of concerns that I have in regards to some comments I get on my channel in terms of some of the decisions I see people making out there about PCPs, and just the whole notion of lead down range, which is a philosophy I came up with a while ago, that basically says, what is it? Why are you buying this thing? What are you going to use it for? How often are you going to use it? How far are you going to shoot it? All those things you need to ask yourself before you go out and make a decision about a PCP as a gun, or a PCP in terms of caliber or power or anything else. I also want to address this whole idea, notion that everybody is going crazy with, is this 100-yard plus, 100 yards out to 300-yard shots, 250-yard shots with PCPs. And then I want to talk about why we choose PCPs over powder burners, and what the benefits are and what the downfalls are there. And so that's what I want to deal with today. So I'm going to start this out by just talking to you about powder burners. So let's talk about that just for a moment. Powder burner, we're talking specifically here 22s, because 22 is about the lowest caliber you can get in a powder burner, as you know. So if that's the lowest caliber we can get, then let's just compare that and talk about cost and some other things, and why we're making these decisions to do the things we're doing. So I'll be right back and let's talk about that. Okay, we're back. And I want to start off with my 22, because this was when I started to get into serious hunting with a powder burner rifle rather than a shotgun. I started out with another gun, a little Marlin, but later on I came to this gun here, which is the Ruger. I think it's the best gun in the world, 1022. Short, compact, accurate as heck, easy to carry around the woods, and just really fulfill the need for squirrel hunting and other types of shooting. But it had a drawback, and this is where your decision on powder burner versus PCP comes in, at least I think. And if it doesn't come in at this point, I don't think you should be shooting PCP. And that's just me. Okay, I'm shooting, having fun, going squirrel hunting and other things, crow hunting, and that with this gun. All of a sudden, people start building big old houses out in farm area, and all of a sudden they telling the farmer that, threatening the farmer that you let these people shoot out there. If a bullet ever hits my house or hits anything, I'm going to sue you. So now the farmer is scared. So the farmer says, Aaron, sorry, you can no longer shoot here. Two problems with this gun. One, safety. When you pull the trigger of this thing, it can go a mile or more, they tell me. Secondly, is the alert. When it pops, everybody within a mile can hear it. Pow! Okay? So all of a sudden, right about that time, I ran into PCPs. So I decided I'm going to get a CPP. Because if I get that gun, it's quiet, it doesn't go as far, I probably can get all my land back that I'm hunting on. And it worked. I went out and got my first gun because of Ted holdover. At this time, he was pushing two guns at the time. He was pushing the Bobcat and the Wildcat. Bobcat I thought was too fat and ugly looking. This gun here fit the bill. So I went out and bought an FX Wildcat. Now when I got the Wildcat, let me just say this, okay? The Wildcat cost me $1,600. This gun cost me $150. Why would I pay $1,450 more for that gun over this gun? And there's two things that made it worth it to me at the time. And we'll talk about some regrets later, but right now let's just talk about that. When I took that to the farm and let the farmer shoot it, he immediately told me, Aaron, go back hunting. Because two things were addressed. There's two concerns were addressed. One, that gun was not going to go nearly as far as this gun. Secondly, when I pulled the trigger on that, not only was it his neighbors a mile away, half a mile away, not going to hear it, yeah, his kids that are only 50 yards away from me are not going to hear it. So all of a sudden I got my land back. So it cost me $1,400 to get that land back. But in terms of intrinsic value, that did it for me. I got that back. Then I hear about FX starting to push a new gun called the FX Impact at the time. And so I went and got FX Impact. Now the FX Impact now, we're going to now price because it's relevant to you, costs $2,200, which is $2,050 more than this gun. Okay, now on the first gun I made the decision based on a really good decision, how everyone should. Okay, what are my needs? My needs is to be able to get back on their farm. What would fulfill that need? This PCP. So I got it. Didn't know about anything else. I was going on what I was being told. I was going on what Fred and Ted and the rest of them were saying, Matt and the rest of them. And so I ended up with that gun, and then later on the impact. But laid down range is what came up as a theory for me. And laid down range only basically says, as I see it, how far, how much power do you need, how much you're going to use it, what is the safety factors in it, and basically how accurate does it need to be at the range that you need to shoot it. And so all of a sudden, I got these two guns. I spent a lot of money for them. And all of a sudden I look up and I see another gun being, people talking about another gun. This gun only costs $400. $1,800 less than one, and $1,200 less than the other. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and buy one of these little things. I did a review on one first. I'm going to go ahead and buy one of these things. So let me come right back with this. Okay, we're back. So I looked up, I saw they were selling this gun here for $49 or something like that at the time. And this is, of course, the P15. The P12 was out, but I didn't like it because it was a single loader, but they came out with this. So I bought this thing just to see, okay, I got these very expensive guns over there. Let me get this little gun and just see what it does. So I bring this gun home. You go back and look at some of the videos. I take this gun out. Now look, now this is laid down range from the standpoint of how far are you shooting. Okay, if you take your gun out 100 times and 90% of your shots are inside 50 yards, 40 yards, then why are you being sold on a gun that can shoot supposedly 150 yards? We'll talk about that in a minute. That's a concept. But laid down range says this. What do I need to do? So I get this gun here and I put it up against those guns over there. And at 50 yards, it's right there with them. At 60 yards, it's not doing bad. And then I came up with a concept. My concept was this. If this gun costs $450, and this gun costs $1, and let's just say that this gun can shoot a 1-inch group at 100 yards. Let's just say that for argument. And let's just say that this gun here can shoot a 2-inch group at 100 yards. Is 1 inch worth $1,800? It became simple for me. No, it's not. Okay, so I said to myself, you know, if I had to do it all over again, I would not have either one of those guns in terms of what I do. Those guns were marketed to me the same way they're being marketed to you, and we'll talk about that again in a minute. This gun here, I can get, basically, I can tell you this for a fact. Very, very close. Oh, it's a fact. I can buy all three of these, 177, 22, and 25 caliber, as I have over there, and the new P35. I can buy 4 guns. And from what I can tell you right now, these guns here, well, you know, this thing here has been a workhorse. It's, every one of my videos, this has been a gun I've been shooting on the farms. But I can get all 4 of those for this, for the price of this. Laid down range. What are my needs? I tell you what, my needs are fulfilled more by 4 guns than any one gun. Especially if I got to go out and buy other barrels and do other things for it to make it there. Take that price up to higher, maybe $3,000, $3,500. So all laid down range means says is this. What it is that you need to do with the gun, and how much should you pay to do with that. If you're, I'm telling you this, if you're inside 50 yards, and that's most of you guys out there, if you're inside 50 yards and you got an FX impact, then I hope you bought it to brag to your friends, or because you got a lot of money. Because if it's anything other than that, then I think you made a big mistake. Because this is all you need. More compact, lighter. This gun here comes in fully dressed with scope and everything at 10 pounds. This gun here comes in at just around 7, 3 pounds lighter. In the field, it's going to be a much, much better gun. But I digress. Let me just do one more change here and bring back and talk about another concept here. Okay, we're back. And like I said, I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but as I just demonstrated, 4 guns for the price of 1. And how you're being marketed, a lot of you guys who don't even need that gun are being marketed to buying that gun when you could have 4 of another gun that has proven, to me anyway, in terms of my personal experience, to be more reliable than that thing. Now, let me take, okay, so that's one thing that they're doing. They market you a gun that you don't even need and these big prices. Now, if you want to, go ahead and buy it. If you got the money, if you're really into it, if this gun serves a purpose for you and lay it down range that meets that particular need, then you, by all means, pay your $2,200 for that gun. But understand what is going on, okay, in terms of being so oversold. Let me tell you a quick story. There was this guy, I came up to a light, and back then I had a Chevy Vega. Little 4-cylinder. Came to a light. The guy pulled up beside me in a vet, and it was the thing was you could feel the power of it. So I looked over at him just as a joke. I raised my engine, and he looked at me and he smiled, and I pointed, and he looked at me and he kind of laughed. And the light changed. He took off. Gone. I drive up to the next light. I look over at him. I go, yen, 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 yen. I said all that to say this. Don't buy more than you need unless you're just fronting. If this is going to get you there at the same time, that's going to get you there, then why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Why are you putting all that money out there on something that you don't not even taking advantage of in most ways? But I digress. Let me talk about the second element of the game I love that's being played out there today. Okay, I have my 22 up here, right? This is a 22 rimfire, you guys. Okay, a brick, back when I was growing up, a brick of bullets was 500. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the equivalent of that. These are 22 rimfires. Okay, 22 rimfires. 500 of these would cost you approximately 40 to 50 bucks on where you got it. Okay, this is going for it. Now, when I bought these were $19. I learned a long time ago because me and my brother, we shot a lot. We always bought a box of ammo at the beginning of every season. I mean, we got 10 of these in a box. And we did it every season. And because we were buying it like that, we were getting these things back then for $10. And I still got a ton of them because I don't shoot anymore up there. I barely shoot this gun. I'll take it out every now and then, but I got way more ammo than I need. But this is the point. Okay, remember this now, 40 bucks. Now, I buy a pellet gun, and I'm shooting my pellet gun. And I decide, well, I really like those JSBs, okay? So I go out and get JSBs, and then I get 500 JSBs for $16. And then I'm smart enough to buy them from Pyramid Air, where if you buy 3, you get the 4th one free. Now I just knocked the whole 4th off this thing. All right, so now I'm really getting over. I'm probably getting this thing for what, $12 somewhere in there? You do the math. Now let's talk about the trick. The thing is, it's ludicrous to me, but let me talk about the next mail. Okay, so I go out and I decide, you know what? I'm going to go to slugs, because slugs are the thing. So I go out and I buy slugs. And I pay $16 for 100. I'm not going to do the math on it though. So 5 times 16 is what, you guys? 80 bucks, let's just say. So you're going to pay 80 bucks to shoot this thing that you've been convinced to shoot. It's too funny to laugh at. You're going to pay 80 bucks for this when you can pay 16 bucks for this. And people that are shooting powder burns are paying $40. You're going to pay twice as much for a piece of lead that's actually lighter than the lead that's in here, not even counting the casing and the powder, to shoot this thing here because you've been convinced somehow that this is the thing to shoot. Now let me just talk about progress here for a minute in terms of how I see it. I remember pulling up a video of Ted. with his little Ed gun. And he was shooting at beer cans. He had some more beer cans. He was shooting at them. And it was windy out. I know Shea only put up his best shots. You know, who's not. But he was hitting beer cans at I think it was 250 yards in that old video. He shot about 100, then 150, I think 200 or 250. Okay? And he was shooting this right here. Okay? But all of a sudden, years go by, and all of a sudden, Ted can't make that shot anymore with this. This just won't do it. You need this to make that shot. Wait a minute, Ted. Didn't I see you shooting 250 yards with this? And I'll tell you another guy who didn't even go into the business, Ed gun. I saw his gun. He was shooting balloons. Now, take it there probably about this size. He was shooting balloons, I think, at 250 or 300 yards with his Matador, using this little $16 one. Okay, so you're being pushed towards slugs. Okay, this is expensive. But you know, in order to shoot these slugs, your regular gun ain't gonna make it now. You gotta get a 600 millimeter barrel. You gotta get a bigger plenum. You gotta have 2 regulators. So you can shoot these things, these expensive things, when most of you guys are never gonna shoot those ranges. 99% of them. Let me tell you another story. Okay, guy called me. He said, wrote me on my channel. He said, Aaron, I just got my FX Impact in 30 cal. The squirrels on my feeder had better be nervous. No, your neighbors had better be nervous. A 30 cal shooting squirrels off your feeder? They've been sold. They've been sold. There's no one out there saying, hey, you guys, you know, unless you're doing this, you don't need this. You really need to you really need to just stay with this. But that's not the sale. The sale is, hey, you got to be shooting slugs. Every gun I get, all the guns I ever gotten, I get at least one guy on there saying, Aaron, why aren't you shooting slugs? I had to do the video, why I don't shoot slugs. You can go look it up. Why I don't shoot slugs. Well, one of you don't shoot them because you'd be stupid to shoot them. Let me tell you this. We would go to the range in the old days. I don't go as much as I used to. But we would go to the range and we'd be there for 4 hours, 5 hours. Now just think, we're there for 5 hours. We take 1 or 2 or 3 guns with us. 5 hours. Do you know how many of these things you can shoot in 5 hours? You got your big tank there and first we're shooting at targets, then we're having fun shooting 100 yards, trying to shoot little soldiers off the top of stuff and trying to shoot little golf balls and little things out 100 yards. And once we get it zoomed in, everybody's doing it. No matter what gun they have, because once you know the wind and once you know all those things, you can't figure it out. How many of these would you go through at the range? You may come home $120 short if you shoot these things. It's crazy. These guns were made to shoot pellets. You're being convinced that they're not. They should be shooting what this gun is shooting, so that you will go out and pay these big amounts of money. It makes no sense. I digress. So anyway, we talked about the lead. We talked about the guns. We talked about the lead. Let's just talk a little bit now about these distances that they're shooting. Okay, and the reality of it. Now I'm gonna tell you this. I've taken shots longer than that, but 100 yards is about standard for us down here at the range. You know, we go out and we shoot 100 yards. And let me just tell you this, okay? For 99% of you guys out there, I'm not talking about at the range, but I bet at the range some of you guys can't do it because I know how hard it is if you don't have a really, really stable platform to shoot that. Okay, if you think you're going to get into the field and pull out a gun and see a pigeon up on a silo, aim at that pigeon with your trusted slug and your plenum and your 600 millimeter barrel, and you're going to pull the trigger and you're going to knock a pigeon off there every time you pull the trigger. For you guys that wrote me and said, Aaron, you can't shoot. You can't shoot. These guys are doing this. No, they're not. I'm going to tell you this. This is the absolute truth. And I started to do it one time. I said, no, I'm not going to play with you guys. I can hit a fly at 4,000 yards if you let me do the editing. Okay. I can hit a golf ball at 300 yards in one shot if you let me do the editing. I can go hunting and hit every shot, every bird, center mass, or in the head, every time if you let me do the editing. Now think about this for a second. Watch these videos. Watch these videos. You hunters out there especially, the guys that just shoot paper, that's okay. But you can see it on paper too. Okay? Every bird, 30, 40 birds in high winds hit dead center mass. I'm going to tell you this. You're going to have to finish off 3 or 4% of your shots. Okay? You're going to hit this guy here or here. And he's going to hit the ground, he's going to be, and you have to go over and finish him off. You never see a finish off shot there. Come on, you guys, please. Stop being so. I'm going to tell you something that really alerted me to all of this. Okay? I was watching this guy's, I was really into Impact at that time, so I'm watching all the Impact video. There's this guy, I can't name it. You might know him when I tell you the story. He went to a competition. It may have been extreme bench rest. He wasn't in the pro category, he's in the under category. And this is what he said. He came on, he said, I just came back from an event, I did really well. I shot real good. And do you know that the guy from FX came over and gave me an impact? Can you imagine? He gave me an impact. He went on to review the gun and talk praises of it and all of that. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. You went down there and you scored well with your gun, whatever it was, and he came over and gave you an impact? And I remember Ted went down there. You guys go back if it's still up there. Ted went down there and took that little air gun Matador. And at the time he was shooting, I hope you guys saw the video if it's not still up. Ted liked to shoot through his camera. So he went down there, he said, can I shoot through my camera? They said, yeah, go ahead, we don't care. Ted cleaned, now this is in the practice. Ted cleaned their clock. Oh, in the first round, I can't remember. Ted cleaned their clocks, okay? They came back and said, no, he has an advantage using that telephone or whatever he was using on there, so they make him take it off. So he takes it off, and Ted being the shooter he is, he still scored high. When Ted left there, Ted was not shooting that gun anymore. He was shooting the FX. Said all that to say this. I'm not down on Impact. I'm playing with them because they right now are the big boys out there. So I'm playing with them. I'm not attacking you. I'm playing with them. Because I'm saying this for any gun. I don't care if you're going to get any of the ones that are out there that are $2,000. If you want to get a Red Wolf, if you want to get any of these guns that are out there that are $2,000 or $3,000, I'm talking about all of those guns. This just happens to be the one that I have it here in front of me, and so it's easy to talk about. I've been through experience, so it's easy to talk about. But if you're paying $2,000, $3,000 for a gun, and if you're paying $16 for 100 slugs, then the game has got you. If you're putting an extra plenum on your gun and paying for that to do this and pumping it way up to 150 on the reg to get this thing out there, I just think it'd be a trick. And the last thing I want to say is this. I would bring a stack of dollars this high, okay? And I would walk around with you guys, all of you guys out there. I'm talking about the great shooters now, not you average guys like me. Great shooters. We walk around there, and I'd take out a $50 bill and lay it down, and there's a pigeon up on that roof there. And I say, put a 50 on top of that and hit him. And he shoots. I pick up $100. I walk over there. Totally different angle. He can have his chair gun, he can have his windows, he can have anything he wants. I lay $100 down. I said, put 100 on that, hit that, pick up 200. He shoots, I pick up, and we just do this all day until he was broke. Because I'm telling you, in the field is not like shooting at the range. You don't know which way the winds are swirling. And winds swirl. You don't as that thing climbs, you got to know the angle, you got to know all this. And yet these guys are making every shot. Come on, you guys, don't get sold on it. I'm preaching now, but I'm just mad at these people who are telling me, Aaron, what does it do at 100 yards? I don't care what it does at 100 yards. I don't shoot things at 100 yards. I shoot them here. Every now and then I take a 100-yard shot just for fun. Every now and then I make it. But, hey, the chances of making that shot in the wind, up high on a silo or on the top of a thing with the wind swirling, and I'm over here versus over here, so the wind is shifted 15 degrees that way. No. They say that these things here buck the wind better. I'm sure they do. But unless you're sitting out and the farmer is paying you to shoot pigeons off the silo and paying you by the pigeon, you are the pigeon. But anyway, I digress. I know you guys. This is way off the beaten path for me. I know I'm gonna get beat up. I know there are people out there that's gonna stomp me for some of the things I'm saying. But don't be fooled. Don't be fooled into getting more than you need. Let me just explain laid down range and why I came with the concept after buying that and then getting all of my other guns that are over there that cost under $500. Ask yourself when you're ready to buy a gun, you guys, what am I going to use it for? Okay? Primarily, okay, you might shoot 100 yards every now and then, but I mean, primarily, what are you going to do with the gun? If you're going to shoot 100 yards every day, then maybe you should go with a gun that's up there. If you're in competition and you shoot competition bench rest, buy a $1,000 vise, buy a $1,000 scope, as I see these guys with, buy a $3,000, $4,000 Thayer gun or something like that. You know, but if you're the average shooter and you're doing that, then you're driving a vet around the city and everything is 25 and 35 miles an hour. You may as well leave that vet at home until you can take it out and stretch it out on the expressway and drive your little car. And that's basically all I'm saying. So what are you going to use it for? Then how far are you going to be shooting it? If it's inside 30, 40 yards, every gun out there can do one hole inside 40 yards. These barrels are just too good that they're making now for that. Even the cheap ones are going to be able to do that. Okay, and then how much power do you need? Do you need this thing come out of that barrel at 1,100 feet per second, or with 700 feet per second, 600%, 500 feet per second do it? And I'm not talking to you guys that are over across the water where I know you guys have a 12 foot-power limit. For you guys, I will say this though: if you're over there and you got a 12 foot-power limit, I sure hope you're not walking around with this. Unless, of course, you got a lot of money or they gave you one like they did the other guy. Okay? Because if you shoot 12 foot-pounds, at 100 yards, what's your drop? 6 feet? 7 feet? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm not talking to you guys, I'm talking to you guys that have, like in the United States, around the United States and other places that have unlimited. Okay, so lay down range, how far, what are you going to use it for, how much power do you need, what cal do you need? Let me tell you this, most people out there, I remember I wrote a guy, I thought he only had one gun. He wrote me, he said, Aaron, I just got a 30 cal. And I wrote back to him, I said, damn, what are you hunting, boar? And he got back on me, he said, well, you know, and he asked me what I use mine for. You do need different calibers, but primarily, if I had to have one gun, I would have the P15 and 177 because of what I do. Not because it's a great gun or anything, because of what I do. Around the farm, as you see my pesting videos, around the farm, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be shooting from my truck or from hides. That little gun is so light to walk around with, and that gun is so easy to shoot and so quiet and so accurate inside the 40 yards I'm shooting. And every now and then you'll see me hit a 50 or 60 yard shot with that little sucker. If the wind is right and I guess good. It fits what I want, and it fits it for $460 rather than $2,200. So, and the other thing is this, is noise. How quiet does it have to be? Now let me tell you guys something, okay? I have over there, and you guys have seen the video if you've been watching. I have an M40 auto, semi-auto rather. And let me just tell you about all of them. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you're shooting that little $460 M40. I don't care if you're shooting the Ed Gun Leshy. Those damn things are loud. Those things are loud, okay? I can't say it any other way. Comparatively speaking, those things are loud. You can't shoot them in your backyard without people noticing it. Those things are loud. Even with the improved silencer on it, they're still loud. So those guys out there say, "Ooh, I want an M40 now." No, you don't, unless you're in an environment where you can shoot your 22. I ain't gonna say it's not nearly loud as 22. Don't get me wrong. It's not nearly loud, but it's loud, and people are gonna notice that it's being fired. And for me, that auto does not trump the quiet. You buy these guns for quiet. You buy these guns so you can shoot them in your backyard, hopefully, without disturbing or putting your neighbors in danger. So, and then the next thing about laid down range is safety. You know, people always say, Aaron, why won't you shoot your 25 caliber on the farm? No, thank you. I mean, first of all, what am I shooting? The biggest thing I'm shooting is a pigeon. I bring them down with 177s all the time. Okay, if I hit here, he's dead. If I hit here, I gotta finish him off. Anywhere else around here, even if I hit him in the stomach, he's gonna fly with. I may have to finish him off. But if I hit him anywhere in this area here, which is what I aim for, but if I hit go through the side, of course, I gotta finish him off because the feathers here are gonna stop a lot of it. But for the most part, I would rather have that 177 that is not penetrating that pigeon all the way than have that pellet miss and go over and it hit something down here, down range, and hurt something or break something. So no, 177s, anybody who's shooting anything bigger than on a farm, unless they shooting up at silos or over rooftops or anything like that where the pellet can go on and then land in a field somewhere, then I think that they're taking some real chances. So safety is a big concern. And then the last thing is, how much do you need to spend? You know, again, I will just say this again. The thing that makes these things so appealing is the quiet. Quiet. The fact is, I don't have to go to the range. At that 22, I got to pick it up, go to the range, put out the target, and pow, drive down there, drive back, pow, boom, boom, pow. Just, I can step outside, take 20 shots, come back in, pick up another gun a little bit later in the afternoon, go outside, shoot, and my neighbor kids, I can hear them playing next door. And they never look up one time. That's the selling point of this whole thing. So I just wanted to here address two things. Let me just close with that, okay? One, please understand that things are being marketed at you, and all of a sudden, this is a new way to go. And so the first generation will be, oh, you got to have a smooth twist. Then the next generation, well, we just sold a smooth twist. What can we sell? Well, we got to sell the, we're going back to full rifling, and we're gonna justify it for the clubs, and then we'll also be able to sell them on the fact that they got to have an extra plenum and push them out there. Plus, we're going to be able to clean up on this slug. So anyway, let's just close this and say that quiet and safety is the reason that I went with a PCP, and I'm thinking it's the same thing you do. So the bottom line is quiet and safety. And if I can get quiet and safety in that 22 over there for $150 rather than $2,200, I think that's the case way I would go. But since I can't do that, I do it with my P15s. And right now, I have 4 guns that cost less than this gun. I have 3 P15s at $450 each about, and I have a P35 at $460 about. And they come in right about the price of that. And I would rather have those 4 guns at that price than one gun sitting over here that can shoot slugs, supposedly 100 yards and 200 and 300 yards and hit things, when 90% of you guys out there will never shoot over 100 yards. But yet you're buying them. I'm not talking against anything. I'm just trying to talk common sense to those people out there who are telling me slugs, 100 yards, 200 yards, 300 yards. For what? To be able to say I did it? You know, I remember they had the golf ball challenge. And one of my buddies said to me, Aaron, you gonna go to the golf ball challenge? I said, well, if I do, I'm just gonna go, I'll do it real quick, one shot. He said, how would you do it? I said, very, very simple. Very simple. I would set the golf ball up, go back, start the recorder, and shoot, and have a camera down there, and then I'd walk up and to maybe 50 yards, 60 yards, and break it. And they would never know the difference. They would see a shot from here, edit, You see a camera ball exploding. Then, of course, I'm going to start this camera back up behind me at 100 yards and walk all the way down there out of sight and all the way back to prove that that's where the shot came from. I remember one time, this is the last thing I'm going to close with. You got to watch this stuff closely. Okay, this guy was shooting a gun at a target, I think it was 150 yards away or something like that, whatever the golf challenge was. And at one point, he fired the gun, and you heard the gun. I say that again. The camera down here is, whatever the distance was, let's just say 150 yards away. He pulls the trigger, and you heard the gunfire on the camera audio 150 yards away. What does that tell you? Now that guy was just goofy. He should have edited out the sound, but he didn't. So all I'm saying is this: don't be confused, okay, with this stuff. Don't be sold by it. Do your research. People come up here, Aaron, I'm gonna buy the P35. No, don't buy it. Do your research. Oh, Aaron, I'm gonna get a cricket. No, don't. Do your research. Do your research. Ask yourself the down range question. How far am I going to be shooting? How far am I going to be shooting? What am I going to be shooting with? How powerful does it need to be? How much noise can it make? Ask you those questions. And how much money should I spend for all of that? Ask yourself those critical questions before you buy this stuff. I'm really sorry I went on a rant here today, but I'm people telling me, why are you taking those little cheap guns out there when you got a quality FX products? Or why aren't you shooting 100 yards or more to prove to this gun to do it? What would it do at 100 yards? Or people saying, how come you ain't shooting slugs? Slugs is the way to go. I'm doing this video because I'm tired of it. So everybody who's watching this video who may have an inkling down the road to ask me about a 150-yard shot or some slugs or very, very expensive guns over a gun that can do just as well at the range I want it, don't ask. And I won't do any more of these videos. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. And I'm sorry for the rant, but boy, every now and then I do get a little upset with some of the stuff I see going on out there. And people that are buying, as I did when I first started out, I'm guilty of it too. Spending a lot more money than I should have spent for what I needed to do. And I'm trying to save some other people from doing that. Now, you guys who want to buy FX, are they accurate? Yes. Yes. This gun here, it's accurate. Okay, it is accurate. I can't take that away from it. But I tell you what, at 60 yards, and that's all I can shoot here at home. Out to 60 is about as far as I can get. At 60 yards, my little cheap guns over there they hang with it. Do they beat it? No. I hope they don't beat it. Not 22 versus 400, but they hang with it. I would rather hang at 450 than win at 2200 shooting in somebody's backyard at a golf ball at 60 yards. Just me. Because with that money, I can buy 3 more guns. All right, you guys, with that, I'm going to let you go. And I'm sorry. If you guys can jump all over me on this video in the comments, and I'll come back to you. Now, let me just say this, too. You guys, I know you noticed this on my hand. So let me address this now. You're going to see it in all my videos because the doctor tells me it's going to take a while for all this swelling in here to go down and stuff. Okay. I crushed my hand really, really badly, and what happened was the top of the hand took some of it, but these 3 fingers took the brunt of it. Okay, and so as a result of that, I've had some surgery on this finger to fix some bone that got broken in there, and then the other ones are healing. And I'm told that this swelling could be here for quite a while. So you're going to see these things on me for quite a while. So don't ask me in the comments. Don't comment in the comment. I hurt my hand really, really badly. I'm in therapy. I'm getting it fixed. And it's going to take a while, they tell me. So you're going to see something on my hand in all my videos for quite a while now until this goes on. They told me it could take up to 6 months or more for everything to get right in here. With that, we'll talk to you later. Keep it safe, guys.